All right, good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining me again this morning. This is our Wednesday AM Meditative Writing Circle, and I am excited that you all woke up this morning and decided to be here with me. I always appreciate it when you all get up, get dressed, look nice, and decide to be on the video. Here comes Miss Tish now. Thank you so much for being here. So today we're talking about emotional eating. But first, as we always do, we always start with a short meditation to be able to help us to ground in the space. So I like to always just turn the video off when I do that. And we just take a moment to sit down where we are. If you can, you're able to put your feet with your feet flat on the floor. Or if you're able to and you'd like to sit with your legs crossed, that's fine too. And if you can just sort of feel from the top of your head all the way down the back of your neck and down your spine, all the way towards your tailbone. You can just sort of feel the energy just sort of bringing you down. And you can feel your bottom sort of hit the chair and notice where you are. Your shoulders are relaxed. And we're breathing normally. If you'd like, you can close your eyes or soften your gaze a bit, if that feels more comfortable for you. You can give your neck a stretch. If you like, you can take your right hand and put it on the left side of your head and just gently pull it towards you. Pull your head towards the right-hand side just for a second to give it a stretch. You can switch hands, put your left hand over the top of your head, over to the right side of your head. And again, give your head a light stretch. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. And turn your video back on if you'd like. And Miss Marie Liz is here. Welcome. All right. So we'll go ahead and get started. Again, my name is Halona Black. Today is our Wednesday AM Meditative Writing Circle, and we're talking about emotional eating today. We do all of this through the process of journal writing. which I think is important. If you are a writer or have aspirations to be a writer, because journaling really helps us to be able to mine our life for stories, interesting stories that we may want to be able to write about. So whether you want to write it in your journal and keep it to yourself, or to be able to share it with others in a book, that's also fun as well. So today we're talking about emotional eating. And I had to be honest, this is just totally a topic that I'm interested in. I don't know if others are interested in it as well. Because emotional eating is a topic that it's a common topic that shows up in my life often. So eating has always been a way for me to cope with what I didn't feel like looking at in my life, what I didn't feel like dealing with. And at the same time, I and many other people in the world are sort of trained to look at food as a way to celebrate. So particularly in all the different ways that we've looked at food in the last couple of weeks, we looked at food as being part of our cultures, food being linked to stories of survival. Food can definitely be a sign of love from other family members. And then it's also just sort of daily sustenance. We need to eat to survive. So food can definitely be a really heavy topic, a weighted topic, because as individuals, we all need different things at different times of life. And what you ate as a carefree 15-year-old kid may not be what you need when you're at the age of 47 or whatever age you happen to be right now. So it makes sense, at least to me, to not just look at what it is that we eat, but also explore why we eat what we do, or when we eat and how we eat, etc. So as a person who's always on what many people consider to be a special diet, and I put special diet in quotes because that's not really my choice of words. I think of how I eat is just what I eat. And language is really important to me and how I describe food. But how I eat literally changes from time to time as I change and grow. And so I'm always looking on any given day to find where I'm choosing to exist between food being harmful and food being a way towards life, or to being alive. And so it's required a lot of conversations with myself about food. And these conversations are like a continuous reprogramming of my mind about what the food is doing for me in my head. So there are times when I have to be strict with food intake. And that's usually when I'm like maybe in a period of detoxing. And then there are other times when I allow myself space to be able to explore different types of foods and what I want to be able to eat. But even the exploration has limits or rules or boundaries. So eating, at least for me, can feel complicated some days. And I notice that I eat a lot by myself, just because I find that eating with other people can be challenging. Unless I'm eating with other people who have strong eating boundaries like I do. But then I eat out with others who may eat other things in other ways, which is also fine. And I don't want to become this like the center of attention for what other people are eating, or to like sometimes I feel like other people feel bad because they feel bad about what they're eating. Or they might have to change what they eat, and that's not really what I want people to feel. I just want people to just eat what you want to eat, and it's fine. But then when I allow myself to eat even just a little bit of what other people are eating by my own choice, of course, I end up feeling tired and sometimes sick. So today's circle is just sort of dedicated to us being more aware of our food and our eating patterns, Hopefully without any initial judgment. I don't want this to turn into, into a therapy session about food, but just to be us to be made aware of how we think and move when it comes to our food choices. Um, so I don't know if anyone had anything to add. If not, we can certainly just go into our first journaling question, which is, where is it? Reflect on moments when you've turned to food in response to your emotions. What emotions were you feeling and what foods did you crave? I'm going to put it in the chat so that we'll all have access to it because it's a little long. Where is the chat? Here it is. Again, the question is reflect on moments when you've turned to food in response to your emotions. What emotions were you feeling and what foods did you crave? Okay. Would anyone in particular like to read what they wrote or give a sharing of a general sharing of what it is that they wrote down?
I'll share.
Yes, Ms. Jamila, thank you.
Well, for me, 9 times out of 10 is something sweet. I am fighting a sugar addiction. Um, and I don't always win the fight, depending on what day it is. I know that one particular incident I remember when my spiritual elder, who is now an ancestor, shared with me that he had cancer. Um, and I was driving, and I drove straight to Walmart and got a chocolate bar. It was like that was a little bit overwhelming, but also just at different times, when something traumatic happens, I noticed that that sugar craving will activate, and sometimes it's for creamy things
Mhm.
like ice cream, or maybe some kind of creamy warm drink, something warm and comforting like coffee with
Mhm.
some heavy cream in it, or sometime it's for like a dry sweet, like cake or some butter cookies or something like that, you know. Um, and then I also noticed that sometimes I get a craving for savory things, like something barbecue,
Mhm.
or something a little salty. And yeah, so it's between the savory and the sweet, but mostly it's sweet. And I also lately have this um a craving for ginger ale, which is another sweet, but I can manage that pretty much with like some sparkling mineral water. So that one is not so
Mhm.
big of a deal for me, but it's mostly, bottom line, sugar.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think sugar is a common issue. I think I don't think I have a problem as much with sugar as I used to. I think I've gotten rid of, I won't say it's totally gone for cravings, but I like the need to be able to eat sometimes. Just to be able, like savory foods has always been my sort of a thing. Sugar was always my mother's issue, and I can always sort of tell her mood by what it is that she bought when she went out. So she used to love Entenmann's cakes, the Louisiana crunch cake. Oh, that was so good when I was a child. But I know that when she bought it, something was off with how she was feeling. Because she would bring that at home. But I don't think I really ever liked sweets that much, but I did like to eat. Like I you just food, savory food was more my thing. And like potatoes and comfort food in that way, sort of soft, like milky things, like you said, um, anything that was sort of creamy and comforting. Potatoes is a lot. I like to comfort myself now with potatoes because that's really the only thing I'm allowed to eat. Anybody else?
I'll go.
Yes,
Okay.
Miss Tish.
So I started writing and I was like, when I'm happy, I like Thai food.
Thai food?
Thai, yes. But then I started writing, I was like, actually, I think when I like Thai food when I'm sad too.
Mhm.
But then when I go get a massage, it's the Thai place right over there. I was like, it don't matter what emotion. Like I like Thai. no matter what I'm feeling. Like when I'm with friends, I like Thai. When I'm by myself, like Thai holds like a lot of feelings or memories for me. Like,
Mhm.
um, I remember the very first international restaurant that I wanted to, so I remember being 18 and I went to, community college downtown and I wanted to be fancy, because one of my supervisors took me to Whole Foods. They had different fruit than what they had at the grocery store by my house. And I remember wanting to explore and just try stuff I hadn't had. And I think it was a Thai restaurant. That was the first time that I had something other than tacos or, I don't even think I liked Italian. So, but Thai. And then I remember being in Thailand and just, it was a great time and having a good time with friends and all this. I don't know. But so Thai, I don't care what I'm feeling. I like Thai. That's all
Well,
the.
Thai is a good food to have. I love Thai food too.
Oh, I love Thai.
Thai
And
food
it
is
don't even matter what it is. The curry, the pad thai, the pad see the chicken satay, like it don't matter.
Mhm. And I love the noodles because they
Yeah.
eat a lot of like rice noodles and I guess wheat noodles too. But they eat a lot of rice noodles, which is also a comforting, it's a comforting food to be able to have rice noodles. Thank you. Anybody else?
Sure. I wrote, sometimes when I miss my mother, I prepare a dish that she used to make. So lately it's been tomato and onion salad. And I found a nice vegan mayo, so I won't get that reaction that I get when I eat something with dairy in it. And so that's been my thing for like 2 weeks. Tuna fish patties, grits, whiting, and I love foods with dairy in it. I can't eat it now, but the craving does come up. Rutabaga. I don't see many rutabagas on the market, but every now and then I'll treat myself to root. They're so difficult to peel. That's the
Mhm.
thing. But I like those. And it's what I wrote was it transports me to the warmth of my mother's kitchen. But what I wanted to bring out was when Jamila mentioned, was it Jamila? Yeah. Who mentioned their friend who died of cancer? It was Jamila, right? So uh, I'm participating in this research advisory council training, and the topic of generational dietary habits being related possibly to genetic reactions, as far as cancer and other diseases that people will say, it's genetic. It runs in my family
Mhm.
because they eat the same foods, then they may very well have a propensity to the same illnesses. So that's what came in my mind. And I try to, well, my mother, she didn't have a diet issue. She had a smoking issue. So, I don't smoke. But a lot of that comes, I think, from how we were brought up.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm. And
About
I love a
how
chocolate cake now. I love chocolate cake. I don't eat it. I love sweets, but I don't really eat it. Like I might pinch off of something, and I found Cloudy Donuts, a vegan donut shop here in Brooklyn.
oh
Ooh,
nice.
my God. Yeah. So every every now and then I'll take my great grandson because he's vegan,
Mhm.
and I will go and have cloudy donuts and sit by the water.
Oh, nice.
Tear those suckers up.
They sound delicious.
Yeah. I asked the owner why they're called cloudy donuts. He said because of the way they make the donut so fluffy. It's like a
Mhm.
cloud, and it does. It's like cloudy in your mouth. Like a cumulus cloud.
Mhm.
84
Shirley, can't hear you.
Anyway, I'm sorry. That sounds so good. That sounds good.
She can't unmute. She laughing so hard.
That sounds so good. Oh, oh wow. Yeah, really quickly. So for me, my relationship with food has evolved and changed over the years.
Mhm.
And so for many, many, many years, I had habits or I did things or I lived my life in a way that would sabotage my own well-being.
Mhm.
As those things changed, healed, as I got grew in consciousness and wisdom or whatever, got better. When I stopped doing that, I realized that, it became clear to me that everything actually really is connected. So when one thing went, I saw something else. So it's like an onion, peeling an onion. So I became aware that I use food to kind of control. So like for me, food is either good food for me or bad food for me. It's either good for me or it's not good for me. So when I make healthy food choices, and that entails also like preparing food for myself, that's a whole thing. Like preparing the food, shopping for the food. I feel so empowered and so good when I eat those things that are healthy for me because it makes me feel like I'm in control. I'm a good steward of my own health,
Mhm.
as opposed to like unintentional eating,
Mm.
which I can do. And that also sabotages my well-being. So I've had to become really conscious in eating intentionally, like planning out what I eat, because I can fall into that in unintentional, and I can eat. I love sweets. I
Mhm.
love comfort food. All that kind of stuff. But everything is everything that looks good isn't good for me. So I use food now, and I have standards that I employ most of the time, not all the time, but there are standards, just like for behavior, just like for everything else. There are standards regarding the foods that I allow myself to eat, because food is life, and so I want to be intentional about that. But I realize that food and eating is all of that is connected to how I think
Mhm.
about myself, about the world, about other people. So I have to get my thinking right
Yeah.
in order to address the food choices that I make. And so when I eat well, I feel very empowered and very
Mhm.
good about that. And I don't feel good when I eat poorly, because
Mhm.
sometimes I do eat poorly, and so that just spirals into those feelings that you don't want. So it's also like sabotaging yourself again with food.
Mhm.
Yeah, this is a really, I can talk about food forever. And now I'm gonna be looking for some cloudy donuts that I don't know where to find, but I'm gonna find those. I'm not even vegan, but I'm gonna find. I like vegan food too. I'm gonna find those donuts, Carolyn. You
Oh, pleasantly surprised. My mouth is watering. Stop.
know, really?
I love how you said that you have standards about your food, because that's probably the biggest change that I've had in the last few years. Is just having standards about what I eat, what I don't want to eat, what's appropriate for me to be able to eat. Yeah, that's probably the biggest change. Because I used to be able to eat, child. It didn't make no sense. Like when I was married 100 years ago. Like we would get into an argument at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I would be so angry that I couldn't go to sleep. So I would make pancakes and like a stack of pancakes. And because I pride myself on being a foodie and being able to, find great ingredients, I would make an excuse saying that it was okay for me to be able to eat like that at all hours of the night. Crazy, just crazy. Didn't make no sense. But I was really just hurting myself when I was doing all of that. And just a lot of unconscious, unhealthy eating because I was angry. Yeah, so being able to have standards about what I eat, what time I eat, like I won't eat past 7, and a lot of times might be done eating between 3 and 5 p.m. just because I've noticed that when I eat, stop eating earlier, then my sleep gets better. If I eat late, then I'll stay up later trying to digest all the food. Yeah, so that certainly makes a difference. Marie Liz, thank you for coming in. I think she dropped.
Hi,
Good morning. Thank you for coming.
good morning. Yeah, I have my own eating journey, like everyone here. I started with the food aversions when I was pregnant, and this whole emotional thing when I got pregnant with my first one, and I stopped eating muffins and I stopped eating certain things because they were basically food aversions. Um, my emotional eating journey changed because I wanted to breastfeed, and breastfeeding was very important for me. And I ended up getting mastitis in one of my breasts, and I saw how milk would come out when I had the mastitis with pus and blood and all that. So I Googled it, and I noticed that the cows in the dairy farms also get mastitis, and that totally grossed me out. So I stopped eating dairy altogether, and from there I stopped eating meat, and I stopped eating fish and chicken and everything. Slowly, surely, by 2005, I was completely vegan. And food made me emotional. I thought that when I used to eat all these cows and all these pigs and whatever, that I was more so on the depressed side because I was consuming their injuries and their pain and their cage, their pain basically from being a farmed animal. So since I became a vegan and I stopped eating those food, I don't get emotional about food as I did prior to having a child. So that was my emotional experience with food in that time, that I used to feel more depressed when prior my first pregnancy than I did afterwards, because I felt that I was consuming their depression, their pain. You're getting milk from cows that are getting their babies taken away from them. So I related that pain to myself, and I said maybe that's how I feel that way. So now my struggle is I want to eat more raw food, and I find a lot of comfort in eating hot cooked food. And I want to eat more raw because it's more nutrient dense and it's better for you and all that stuff. But when I get angry and whatever, I tend to go for my really cooked up food that disappears and just can easily get swallowed. I don't want to chew and take my time with food when I'm angry. So that's what I thought of when you talked about when you mentioned emotional eating. So
Mhm.
that's my experience with that. So thank you for the topic. I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for sharing. I think it's important to note that when you go through different stages in life, particularly as women, and when you have a baby, your body changes. It's probably the biggest change that a woman's body could ever be put through. So the things that you want to eat and how you look at how you eat is going to definitely change. I don't have any children of my own, of course, but just in watching the other women that I've seen around me, it really is it's interesting to watch people sort of evolve in how they eat and how they want to eat and why it is that they want to be able to eat that way in an effort to be able to nourish their children.
Yes, and also, I mean, my oldest child is now 20, so that stage for me is over. But now we're going out through menopause, and menopause does different things in your body. So that's one of the reasons I wanted to eat more raw food, because I was gaining weight. Like I was like, and I don't want to. My grandmother was 300 pounds, so that in itself was like, if I eat the way my grandmother ate, I'm gonna be 300 pounds. So I'm really like conscious about that as well. About how food is gonna affect me all around. So yeah.
Yep.
Sheree, did you want to say something?
Yeah, this is like, oh, I love this conversation. Thank you, sisters, for just being. I love y'all. Yeah. Every square here. You're like, y'all are wonderful. Yeah. I was thinking about myself going all the way back to like when my mother was working and I was a latchkey kid. I was a single, I was the only child for many years until until I was 10. Um, and, you know, food was a pacifier for me. Feel like it was given to me as a pacifier, and the pacifier had sugar. Everything had sugar. Everything was sweet. And, you know, taking that all throughout life and then becoming a mother and then making sure your children are tasting sweetness. And I used to think it was a nice thing to taste sweetness, you know what I mean? And it is nice to taste sweet things, don't get me wrong. But the type of sweetness, I wasn't getting the correct type of sweetness. I was getting more refined sugars. And I can look back and see where my behavior was disruptive, where I put myself on a fast track to diabetes, which, of course, it ran in my family, right? Because everybody likes the sugar. And I also remembered, and so now I'm looking at this so fast forward, looking at this menopausal body, right? That cannot deal with refined sugar at all. Like it sets off a Hiroshima mushroom cloud of radiation heat and sweat. I get a sweat beard when I have refined sugar. Now, I would say like within the last 15, 20 years, I have adopted, no, maybe it's longer than 20 years, 25 years, because my youngest daughter is 30. So it must be about 25 years. And I realized, wow, I was really just overloading on the sugar. And I noticed that in this menopausal body, the sugar, it's just like insane. I can't even have like even certain fruits anymore because of, it doesn't even matter. Like my body's like, you've had enough sugar for two lifetimes, 3 lifetimes. You're good. So now I eat more like I eat more to as a prescription. That's where I am with my eating. And when I emotionally eat, I crunch. So I like the cashews. That's my thing. But the cashews put weight on me. Well, at this point, everything puts weight on me. I got a little fluffy behind menopause. So now I'm loving this menopausal body. And I'm taking Gymnema sylvestre, which is helping, it's called the Sugar Destroyer. And it helps to thwart your desire for sugar. And I believe it's assisting me, and more water. And because now I'm here, I'm in Bali, so I'm able to eat better. There's more fruits around. So like right before I realized I was supposed to be here, I was eating a soursop and, just, being good to myself. Everything is a prescription at this point. So I want to just say thank you for bringing up this topic because, and I will also continue to self-reflect beyond this conversation because of all the things that you all added, family members and menopause and all the things. So many thanks to us all. Peace.
Yeah. And the menopause conversation is important because there's nowhere to have it. And I really like, and I feel
Can I tell
I
you a
lost my.
secret?
There's
You want a
nobody
secret?
talks about what is it?
You want to talk about? Okay, so yeah, get real close. Because I need support on this, y'all, for real. I started a YouTube channel. It's called Learn Our, HOUR, Bodies. And I've been secretly putting up clips. And it's clips of puberty, pregnancy, perimenopause, and menopause. And it's like little clips of like facts about all of those different stages. The reason why I named it Learn Our Bodies is because our is spelled HOUR, meaning our bodies over time and how we, the changes and what it, what we become and how we deal with it. So yeah, I'm starting to kind of tiptoe to the conversation. I gotta start like making videos of like with me in them, not just, the things that I created using AI. So I'm getting there, y'all. But the conversation is about to happen. Maybe we'll do it together.
You definitely got one of them
I would
voices.
love.
But when you were talking, I was like, she need to have a podcast or something.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
And so it is, and so shall it be.
I would love to do something with you. I'm an herbalist, so what I wanted to share with you is in your struggle of uh, toning down your desire for sugar,
Yes.
increase your intake of bitters. And
Okay,
over
so the
time,
bitter
you'll find
melon.
balance. Like it could be bitter
Okay.
melon, it could be golden seal, it could be hyssop. You
Golden seal. I'm on it, doggone it. Okay, so
know,
00 capsules.
Oh, well, I don't do capsules basically because I don't know how long they've been on the shelf.
Okay.
So I do, powders
Just
and dried
be a
herbs.
big girl about it. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Not like if you swallow it and you don't get the intensity, the chemical change doesn't happen in your mouth because that's where it
Okay.
first begins. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and
All right.
there's two things I wanted to bring out. And speaking about,
Yes.
I'm postmenopausal now, thank Jesus.
Me
But,
too. Yeah.
but what made me stop eating meat, and I love the oxtail chow with the gravy on it and the beans, broke out in a tsunami sweat.
Yeah.
This couldn't be happening. Well, I'm gonna eat a burger and see what happens. Tsunami
Mm-hmm.
sweat. I like, all right, and then a headache, like a throbbing headache
Mm-hmm.
with it. The wasn't there. It was like out there somewhere, but it was here, strange.
Okay.
And so I stopped eating meat and got rid of that
Mm-hmm.
particular
Mm-hmm.
issue. And I forgot the other thing, but that brought me back so far. Knocked my memory out, but that alone, is important to respond to your body when it says no.
Yes, absolutely. I agree.
Mhm.
Yes.
So yeah, let's exchange information because I have some.
Yes, of course.
Mhm.
Please and thank you.
But yeah, I realized that, when you get your period every month, you detox every month, because that's what normally happens. But then when you become menopausal, you don't detox every month. But when you eat toxic food, that's what makes you have all these menopausal reactions. So that's why I had to rethink the cooked food I was eating, because cooked food changes composition, and it used to make me have more reactions than eating healthier raw food. And it kind of eliminated a lot of symptoms if I had any. I mean, the sweating thing, it only lasted for me a couple of months when I realized what was happening, because it was like, I'm not detoxing every month anymore. So now this is the way we detox. I guess through this whole sweat, um, hot flash idea. So I had a symptomless menopausal era once I discovered that eating toxic or exposing myself to
Mm-hmm.
toxic things was making me more reactive.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mhm. And really quickly, thank you for that. I totally agree. And really quickly, the other thing I wanted to mention was my mentor is Matthew Wood. And one time I was discussing a case with him, and he said something very interesting. And so when you're taking your bitters, keep this in mind.
Okay.
If someone is feeling depressed or down, then don't give them bitters. So in other words, maybe lean towards something like an adaptogen like linden that has a pleasant taste,
Okay.
or drink some rose tea, even though it's bitter, just put a few rose petals in there because it absorbs grief. So also pay attention to your emotional state when you're taking your bitters.
I think we need a part 2 of this, Goddess.
Part two.
I feel like there's more.
Because actually, I have two other questions that we haven't even looked at.
Oh.
Yeah, this one was big. This took up room.
Okay, we can
It
do the
sat
next
down
one.
and spread out.
because it is an important issue to be able to talk about. When I pick these things, I'm always like, I don't know if anybody even cares about this topic.
Oh,
But
yeah.
it's nice when I'm able to find other people who are like, yeah, this is something to be able to talk about, that everybody sort of feels in different ways that it's an important thing for people to be able to talk about. So yeah, I can bring the other two questions for next Wednesday. We can certainly do that. All right. So are there any last words? I'm going to check out Cherie's YouTube channel. You said it's called Learn Our Bodies. Our is HOUR.
Yes, learn our bodies.
Okay. I will check that out.
Thank you.
There's not, because
It's not ready yet, but yay, it's family, so I feel comfortable.
Yeah, we'll look at it.
And I welcome all feedback because I want to be better. I want to be my best. And I want it to be something so good and juicy that, you just feel good about it. Just being on the site and being on the on YouTube, on the channel. Yeah, I just want it to be good. So I want it to be the best. So just don't worry, I won't cry. I won't.
Well, I love that you're doing AI. I just started really diving in where they put imagine, and I put my imagination
Oh,
there and
Mid-Journey you're using.
to see your imagination actually become an image,
Yes,
and
it's
then you get to
wonderful.
choose which one really fits your vision. So it's like putting your brain into visual form.
It is. It's a beautiful, beautiful tool for us to utilize. It is.
Any last words, anybody? Any last shares?
This was a great topic. Thank you so much.
All right, you all. Well, thank you all for coming. I'll go ahead and I will close the circle now. We'll do a part 2 of emotional eating, and I'll bring our last 2 journaling questions with us. For people who are watching the YouTube replay, you are free to join the circle. The circle is for women who'd like to write and travel. You can go to the description box and there should be a link there. Just click on it and put your name and email address in it, and you'll be able to get the emails every week. So thank you so much. I appreciate you all. And I am going to cut the recording here. Let's see. How do I, oh.